Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I am going to be sharing with you guys some of my top tips for productivity. I've actually gotten this question a decent amount, and I figured it was finally time that I share with you guys what helps me the most and what I really rely on to keep me motivated and accountable and productive. So I have been working for myself now full-time for just about 2 years, which is super awesome and exciting, and it definitely took a lot of work before I was able to get to a point where I was, making money and successful, as far as financials go. A lot of work has gone into this, but there are definitely some things that I have done along the way to keep myself productive and on task during the hustle, if you will. And if you guys are new to following me, I am currently pregnant. I'm about 8 months pregnant, and I know that life is about to drastically change once this baby girl arrives. So I know that my work from home routine and just how I approach working in general as a mom, everything is going to change. So I wanted to make sure that I made this video now before she is here so that I could share with you guys my tips that I have been using for years now and have really helped me to create this business and to stay disciplined and on top of everything, which you kind of really need to when you're your own boss. Okay, so let's just dive right in. My very first tip for productivity is but I certainly need, these are all things that have helped me. Everyone's gonna be a little bit different, but having a planner is everything for me. If I don't have, if I'm not using and utilizing my planner, really writing everything down in it, staying on top of it, glancing at it all day, throughout the day, every single day, those weeks where I neglect my planner and I'm just not really using it are weeks that are far less productive. Having a planner and using it is so important for me to be productive. So this may sound obvious, but my first tip as far as planners go is using it and looking at it every single day, really truly using it. There are so many planners out there. There are so many different ones. There's lots of pretty ones that are fun to look at and all of that, and mine is definitely on the cuter side, I would say, but really it just needs to be functional, and it just needs to be something that you are going to use every single day, that you're going to want to have out on your desk or throw in your bag, whatever your work situation is. You want it to be something that you are actually going to use, and that it's going to be in a layout and structured in a way that really fits the way that you like to keep track of things. My second tip when it comes to using a planner is planning out your work week. So for me, I like to go through at the beginning of every single week. Sometimes it's on a Sunday. That's rare, to be honest. It's usually Monday morning because I really like to enjoy my weekends and family time and relaxation and all of that to recharge. But I like to go through and write everything out. It's not everything, but just main priorities. So the content I'm going to be putting up that week. If there are certain to-dos that need to get done, every day I like to write Instagram posts and Facebook posts or whatever, so I can go in and check them off. But basically just having your week kind of laid out, at least at the bare bones, the priorities that absolutely have to get done, have to get uploaded or submitted or whatever, accomplished. Being able just to glance at your planner and just see kind of your whole week is really helpful to keep you on task, because as someone who works from home, it is so easy to kind of maybe not even procrastinate, but at least for me, because I'm much more task oriented than time oriented, which being task oriented is great, but not being time oriented is not great. It's definitely a weakness. And I can tend to push things off and slide them and set them, on the next day's to-do list. But if I can see my whole week, I can see that no, you got to get that done today, because these are all the things that are, lined up for tomorrow. We don't have time to get that task done tomorrow. We got to get it done today. And kind of going along with that, as far as putting all of your priorities down on paper for the whole week so you can glance at it, my next tip is to actually utilize highlighters. Some people like to get totally crazy with colored highlighters and pens and stickers and all kinds of stuff to decorate their planner, which there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just not something, I just don't really enjoy doing that, so it's not a good use of my time, which is why I don't. However, I do see the value in some kind of color coding, and it helps me a ton. So I have just this one simple set of highlighters. I probably got it off Amazon. I don't know. I can probably link them down below. but they're just basic highlighters, nothing crazy about them. And what I do is I kind of color code things. So I don't highlight every single thing in my planner. I can actually show you so you guys can get an idea. And I'll talk about the planner that I use in a second. But you can see there are just some things that are highlighted. Nothing crazy, not everything, but again, just those priorities. So for example, at this point in time, I upload 2 videos a week, have for a very long time. Those always get highlighted in yellow. And then days that I'm gonna be filming, when I write like film, you know, productivity video, anything that I'm filming always gets highlighted in orange. And then anything that has to do with our podcast, my husband and I have a pregnancy podcast, The Bristows Made a Baby. So whether it's recording, editing, or like uploading that podcast, like when it's gonna be uploaded, it's always on Wednesdays, that gets highlighted in blue. And then I also use the pink highlighter for anything that's kind of like outside of work that has to get done. So if like I have like a midwife appointment, or if I have like I don't know, something basically like more of like a lifestyle, like appointments and things like that, that I definitely want to make sure I don't miss. That always gets highlighted in pink. And then usually I highlight working out, like my exercise. I like to write in like gym or go for a walk or those kinds of things. I like to highlight that in green. So that way for me, visually, I can literally just glance and see like, okay, Tuesday's kind of a heavy filming day. I've got 2 videos that day. And we're early in the week right now, so it's not fully filled out, but like this kind of gives you a better idea because it's the beginning of the week, and here's my beginning of the week. So again, going through and highlighting the main things really helps me because I'm a very visual person, and just being able to like glance at my planner and not even necessarily knowing what the things say, I can see like, okay, I've got filming and podcast stuff to do that day, I've got a video going up that day, I've got a video going up that day, and then here's the days where I'm going to work out at what times, and it really does help me. So if I was just staring at this all in black or blue ink, it kind of, your eyes can kind of gloss over, and it's just, I don't know. I really swear by having some kind of color that, even if it's not color coded, just anything that can just like draw your attention to the more important things and alert you to the larger priorities you have throughout the week at a glance helps tremendously. Okay, now that I keep teasing you and showing you my planner, I want to just talk about the planner that I use. So this is what it looks like on the outside. It's called the Start Planner. This is not sponsored at all. I bought this with my own money at the beginning of last year, so it's almost time for me to purchase another one, and I think I'm actually going to buy, they have like an upgraded version. It's like the same layout, but it's like in a nice like leather bound case. I'm like considering getting that, and then I can keep all my highlighters in there. But this is the planner that I use. It's called the Start Planner, and there's a few reasons that I'm obsessed with it. I have tried so many throughout the years. I used to use the Erin Condren one forever, but it's just, this layout is more perfect for the way that my brain works, and so everyone's gonna find a planner that like meshes with them the best, but for me this is like freaking gold. I don't know if I'll ever try another one because I love this so much. So it has like a weekly layout, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday on this side. So basically I believe they have like the different, like a day-to-day layout, not like the time layout. I'm pretty sure they have both. But I prefer the time layout because I just like to see my day in a sequential order versus like just a big box where I can write in. It's just easier for me to glance at and like just see what's happening. I don't know, I just prefer that. So I have like it has the time layout, which is normal. But then the reason I love this planner so much is all of the room for to-do lists. So from here to here, it's 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then on the bottom here, you can see I have little to-do lists. So every day has a whole blank to-do list of like, I don't know, 8 or 10 spots. And they even have like little check boxes that you can check off, which to me is like everything, because I'm weird and I don't like to write everything in a time slot, because if I know I'm not going to get it done during that time, it like makes me feel weird. Like I'm just very particular about where I write things in my planner because I really do like live off of this thing. I like having a to-do list because there are certain things throughout the day, for example, like just like taking a picture for a thumbnail, or you know, putting up my Instagram posts, things like that, like where I'm gonna fit that in at some point throughout the day, but like it doesn't necessarily have a time-stamped time where I'm going to like complete that task. I like being able to put it on the checklist and I just can check it off throughout the day whenever I have a moment to do it. That's just how my brain works. Love it. But then also on the side here, it has lots more room for to-do list, like to-do list space as well. So on the side, like you can see, I've got some things listed out. I love putting just like life things that I need to get done. So like right now I have like thank yous for our baby shower, return like one of the presents that we got doubles of, car registration that's gonna be up soon, I need to redo that. Like those kinds of things that aren't work tasks, that they're not work related, but they do need to get done. And I like being able to glance and see like if things are checked off, how many more things are on that list. It just really helps me, again, visually. And then just some other things I do, like I usually down in this corner, I will write like Instagram post ideas for the week. And then another thing I might do is like throw a post-it note on here, like if I have lists for just like post ideas for like my oily Facebook group or something like that. That just helps me list out ideas. I do this for YouTube videos as well. I'll just put post-its that I don't necessarily need to like write this in a to-do list, but so I like utilizing post-its sometimes as well. But yeah, so that is my planner. I love that planner. I could not recommend it more. There's also like a lot of other features, like every month there's like a budgeting page. There's like a whole page to plan out vacations, or like multiple pages. They give you suggestions for like household tasks that need to get done like quarterly, and they like remind you as the months go on. It's like there's a lot going on. It really is like a great planner, and I think it's really worth the money. And again, this is not sponsored. I just love it. Okay, so my second tip we kind of already talked about, but that is to-do lists. I am a big list maker. Not everyone is, but that is just something that, I mean, I live and die by my to-do list as far as work goes. So again, I rely on my planner a lot to write out my to-do lists. Before that, when I had like other planners that I didn't love as much, I would always have like a separate to-do list, and then I would have my planner with like work tasks. And I would always just end up writing my work tasks on my to-do list, because I'm just like a very big to-do list person, because I like to be able to cross and check off and see visually like how I'm making progress based on like how many things are not crossed off. And but now that I have like, this is like all in one, the planner with all the to-do lists, it's like all in one book, which is why I'm so obsessed with it and why I use it so much. But kind of like I touched on, I have to-do lists as far as work. So every day of the week there is a to-do list outside of like, you know, the tasks that I have scheduled in like time blocked. And then I also have that life to-do list of just things that need to get done, that I'm like trying to work on and check off as, you know, whenever I have free time throughout the week. But my biggest tip when it comes to to-do lists is writing your to-do list for the next day the day before. So for example, today is Tuesday, so by the end of my workday, I want to make sure that I have at least like something started, like a drafted something written down as far as my to-do list for the next day. So like I said, like the content and things that need to get done, like as far as like big work priorities, those are already written in because I do that like early on in the week. But then I like to have like a separate smaller, you know, just adding in the smaller items that have to get done the next day. And it is so helpful for me to do this, and I learned this the hard way, and I'm telling you, it really makes a huge difference, because no joke, every morning when I wake up, my first thought is, okay, what day is it? And my second thought is all of the things, like all of the main things on my to-do list come to mind, and I'm like, okay, that's gonna be this kind of work day, you know? Some days I wake up and I'm like, today is going to be a crazy day, and then sometimes I wake up and I'm like, today is a lighter work day, and I'm gonna get more like life tasks done. So it's just so helpful for me to wake up with like a clear vision of what's happening. And I don't mean like wake up like cortisol spiking, like jumping out of bed, like there's so much to do. I don't mean it in that way, like no way. That's not good. We wanna keep the stress levels down. But it's more so just having like a clear, conscious plan every day when you wake up, so you can just get up, get right into your morning routine and start getting to work, versus like when I don't have a clear, concise, at least an idea of what I'm gonna be doing that day. I take forever to get through my morning routine. I'm like dilly-dallying, and I'm just not making good use of my time. So that is something that I have definitely learned about myself, and I feel like probably most people would do the same thing, because you tend to, however many tasks you have in a day, you tend to fill up your day. So if you only have like one or two things to get done, you're gonna take more time typically, you know, that you need to actually get the task done, just because you have all the time in the world. So the same kind of goes for like not really having a plan. When you don't really have much of a concrete plan for the day, it's hard to like jump in and dive in and start working and like getting stuff done, because you're just kind of like, oh, what do I have to do first? Like what should I do first? Like, oh, I don't even really know what to do. Like, what do I need to get done? No, you need to like get rid of all of that fluff and like la-di-da if you want to like get serious and get productive. Okay, so I do have another tip. Like I mentioned earlier, I am so much more of a task-oriented person than a time-oriented person, and what I mean by that is when I'm working on a task, I am like hell-bent on getting it done, because to me, the most satisfaction comes out of crossing something off of my list. Now, since I am not a time-oriented person, sometimes this, you know, bites me in the butt, because I'm so hell-bent on getting something done that I'm like no longer making the best use of my time, when really I should just like, you know, set that aside for a day, come back to it another day to get it done. But I just like, I gotta get it done. So do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just a little, it's good to be task oriented because I'm very good at getting things done, but I don't always necessarily do so in a timely manner. So that is where this little guy comes in. So this is, I think it's just called like a time cube. You can get it on Amazon. I will link it down below. And this really is helpful. You don't necessarily need this fancy cube. You can set alarms or timers on your phone, which sometimes I do that too. But I will say it is really nice and handy to have this on your desk. So basically what you do is you just like turn it on and you just like face up however much time you want to allot to whatever task you're about to do. So say you want to do 30 minutes, you'll just place the 30 minutes like up, and it will start counting down. So just knowing that I'm being timed, and like knowing if I just look at the clock and I'm like, okay, in 30 minutes I would like to be done this, it's probably not going to happen because I'm not under the gun, you know what I mean? And I'm not time oriented, so I'm not really like, I don't work that way. But when you're being timed and you know that something's gonna start beeping when time is up, you're kind of hard pressed to get the task done. So if you're like me and you're just not the best with getting things done in a timely manner, this might be something that's really helpful to you. I don't use this all of the time because, to be honest, I've learned that since I am much more task oriented, I plan my days in a way that allows me to get all of my tasks done and not be like rushing or have to like leave something to the next day, because nothing drives me more crazy. I mean, of course I procrastinate on certain things, like I'm not a robot. I'm totally human, but I do kind of plan my days in a way that I know that I can get through everything, and I tailor them to, you know, how I like to work, how my brain works, because I have that capability since I do work for myself, and that works just fine. However, sometimes you are under deadlines or things just have to get done, so this is a good tool to use. Okay, so my next tip for you guys is probably, out of all of these, the most important one, and that is, while it is important, especially if you want to, you know, maybe create some kind of something on the side that brings in a little extra income, or maybe you want to go as far as being like a full-blown entrepreneur that is totally self-employed, and you know, you're your own boss basically. There is obviously going to be so much hustle and grind and just like blood, sweat, and tears that go into building up that opportunity for yourself, and it takes a lot of hard work. However, what I want to say here is, I think in our society we really value busyness, and the more busy you are, like the better you are, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I would say now that I've been doing this for a couple of years now, I've really gotten to a place where I can balance, you know, being really productive and hustling and getting work done, so that I can be successful and I can continue to grow, but not so much that everything else in life kind of falls apart, and I don't spend time with Matt, and I don't spend time with my family, and I don't have downtime, and I don't have self-care, and like all of these things that are important to being like a well-rounded, happy human. So I just want to say, I think it's so important when you do have, you know, time set aside to work on something, whether it's full-time because you're working for yourself full-time, or maybe it's just like an hour every day, or a couple hours on the weekends to work on your side hustle. I think it is so important to work smarter, not harder, employ these tips, figure out what works for you and what makes, you know, keeps you accountable and efficient and moving from task to task to task, and really just getting things done. So that way, you know, you can be productive and you can continue to grow and you can reach that success, but also it is balanced with, you know, still enjoying life and still, you know, being a social person and having downtime that you can recharge. Because when you are, you know, trying to build up a business, especially so that you can work, like, you know, quit your job and work for yourself, which is like, you know, the American dream, it is so important that you do take breaks and you do rest, because you will burn out, because it takes a long time to get to a point where you really can like legitimately quit your job and support yourself financially and all of that. And maybe that's not your goal, but I'm just saying, no matter what you're doing, if you're really hustling and grinding for something, if you're not going to be able to do that forever. You are going to get to a point where you might want to quit because you're trying way too hard, or you're hustling way too hard and things are falling to the wayside other than work. And that's no way to live. And it's important for the long run. I mean, not just for your health and happiness, but as a, you know, smart business person for the long run, if you really, really want this to truly be something that's going to turn into this like lifelong career, then it's going to be around for a while. So, you know, you got to make sure that you're in it for the long run and that you're not going to burn out and get sick of it and want to just like scrap the whole idea altogether. So while grinding and hustling and putting the hours in, totally necessary, but when you're doing so, my biggest tip is just to be as productive and efficient as possible, and to figure out whatever makes you the most accountable, makes you the most motivated, and you the most productive. So hopefully my tips here, you know, what works best for me and what I have found to be tried and true over the years, helps you guys kind of figure out how you can work at your highest capacity and really just be absolutely productive and efficient in the time that you have to dedicate whatever it is you are working towards. So that is all I have for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you are motivated and that you learned something from it. Again, if you want to check out this planner, it's Start Planner. It's amazing. Otherwise, you can get highlighters and this time cube on Amazon. Again, keep it simple. You don't need a bunch of fancy stuff. You just need a little bit of organization and a lot of heart and drive, and you can totally do this. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and of course follow me on Instagram as well so we can hang out on there. But again, that's it. Thanks so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Find table space to say your social grace is by your